Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about people copying us. You know, we like to feel like we're individuals. And when someone copies us, it's supposed to be flattery, but it can be weird. Especially when you're an artist or you're involved in some sort of creative expression in some way. And someone steals your idea or copies it. It just feels strange. It feels like a theft. Why don't you just do your own shit? Why you gotta rip my stuff off? I've seen this with bands. I used to promote heavy metal bands in Central Florida. Some bands sound alike, and sometimes when those bands sound too much alike and they run into each other, they can be rather competitive to who gets the sound, where did they get their influence from. You get bands who, they literally are just rip-offs of other bands. They'll pick up their favorite band and they're just going to be a Metallica rip-off band. They're going to sound like them, look like them, do everything they do. Maybe you've painted a painting and it got noticed and somebody went and painted something very similar. And it's like, come on, do your own shit. Come up with your own ideas. Well, this happened to me. Only once. But it was a funny experience. I got ripped off by Arlen Ness. By Arlen Ness Custom Motorcycles, I should say. Arlen Ness, if you don't know who he is, and if you're not familiar with the custom motorcycle scene, he's the godfather. He's been dead for a few years, but he's the godfather of custom motorcycles. He didn't invent custom motorcycles, but he was the best. He was the first big famous custom motorcycle shop, started in California. Your parents, if they know about motorcycles, your parents knew about Arlen Ness. He was probably died, when he died, he was probably in his 70s. I met him a couple times, great honor. When I moved my motorcycle shop from Los Angeles to Daytona Beach, Florida, one of the first things I did was connect with the owners of the Harley Davidson dealership. And it's a family that owns that Harley Davidson dealership, and I connected with them. I met the daughter and then met the father and got to know all of them. That was very good, a very good connection. And then I got in with Arlen Ness. I went and wanted to get a job at Arlen Ness. When I first moved to town, I wanted to have my shop started as soon as I got here. But it costs a lot to move across country. I moved all my stuff, my motorcycle shop, my house. I moved everything, my whole life, across the country. It took thousands of dollars, and I didn't have a lot of money to go and rent a shop and to start the first day that I got here. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna go get a job at a motorcycle shop. Easy enough to do. Go get a job any shop I want. And I went to Arlen Ness, the best shop that there is. Talked with the management there, they loved me, and they were just like, but the problem is we don't really have any openings right now. Everybody wants to work here. I got 500 resumes sitting in the desk that I probably never, I'll just throw them away. They said, well, you could be the janitor. So they offered me minimum wage, and you could be the janitor and clean some bikes, and if somebody left, then maybe I'd get their job. And I said, fuck no. I'm not doing the janitor shit, dude. I have my motorcycle shop in Los Angeles. Made a big reputation for myself in LA. Why would I come and clean your bathrooms? But I became friends with them, and they liked me a lot. And we started doing cross-promotional bike nights between my shop, Sinister City Motorcycles, Arlen Ness Custom Motorcycles, and the Harley Davidson dealership. It worked out great for me. Every time we would have these bike nights, there'd be radio ads, TV ads, newspaper ads. My logo and name would get put on all of it as one of the promoters of the event. So it was free advertising for me. All of a sudden, Sinister got known by everybody. We did a bike night at Hooters with all three of us, and that was the most popular bike night in this side of Central Florida, from Orlando to the East Coast. There were hundreds, 500 people there on a Tuesday night, and that's pretty good. Packed. The parking lot would be standing room only, elbow to elbow, all the way from one end of the restaurant to the other, out to the parking lot, just overflowed to the gills. And that was us. That was that was our thing. The Harley-Davidson dealership family, the Rossmeyer family. And if you're locally from Florida, you've heard of them because the Rossmeyer family own many dealerships. And not just Harley dealerships. They own several Harley dealerships, but they also own car dealerships. Bruce Rossmeyer's been dead for a few years. Rest in peace, and I knew him, did business with him. He was kind of a funny character. Bruce Rossmeyer started off as a gangster. A real legit gangster. And he's a Jewish guy, but back in the old days, a lot of the Jewish guys had opportunities with the Italian Mafia. The Italian Mafia always had, almost every crew would have a couple Jewish guys, Eastern Europeans, as associates, as not as full-made guys, but with them. And Bruce Rossmeyer had this kind of connection. He was from the streets. He's running with the Mafia, I don't know which family. Well, it bit him in the ass where the crew that he was running with was under investigation. Somebody and somebody needs to go to jail. So Rossmeyer volunteers to take the fall. He takes the rap. It's like a 18-month sentence in a federal joint. Easy time. Is it summer camps? Easy time. It's not like you're sitting on a cell block behind bars. These guys are all hanging out, playing cards, eating good food. Does his time, no big deal. Gets out. The mob is thankful, and he never says a word, keeps his mouth shut. They give him $8 million. And this is well known. I'm not ratting anybody out. This is common knowledge around here. They gave him $8 million. He took that money and went legit. And this was, back in the late 70s or something, early 80s. And he, ever since then, had been the dealership king in Central Florida. Harley dealerships, his Harley dealership, the Destination Daytona complex is just ridiculous. It's huge, massive complex. And that's just one of many locations that they own. So all three of us are doing a bike night. We're bringing our bikes out. The Harley dealership would just bring stock bikes, boring bikes, whatever. I think it was right around the time when they were launching that 48, the Sportster 48. And I bought one, not from the Harley dealership, but I bought one from the Vance and Hines race team, right out of their booth at the racetrack, at the Daytona Beach racetrack. The bike that I bought was complete custom. Engine completely rebuilt, every part you can think of, upgraded. The thing was out of control. You just touched the throttle and bam! I mean, you're gone. It was the fastest Sportster. I like to say the fastest Sportster ever. I challenge anybody to a race. Anybody. I don't care what you've done to your bike. You think you got a fast bike? Let's go. You better bring some money. I am ready for you. I sold that bike, traded it in. I ended up getting a pretty cool Road King. And people are wondering, why would you trade this for the Road King? But I like the Road King better. The Sportster was uncomfortable. Funny thing about that bike, when I bought that bike, it was Bike Week. And I rode it down Main Street. I just bought it, and I rode it down Main Street thinking that I was really cool on my custom race bike. And somebody yelled out, "That's a girl's bike." And it just took all the wind out of my sails because I thought I was so cool on my Harley Davidson, and turns out I bought the wrong one. I got a girl's bike, right? So silly. We brought all our bikes out to the bike night on a regular basis, and Arlen Ness, their shop, would always bring out choppers, of course, because that's what they were known for. S&S engines, RevTech engines, that kind of stuff. Just to be different, we would bring other bikes. We've always done everything. I don't care what it is. I'll customize any bike. I can't just stay a Harley guy. I get bored with just one brand. You can't just lock me into one brand. And there's lots of motorcycle guys out there who they just like BMWs, and that's it. Anything else sucks. If it's not a BMW, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to fucking have anything to do with it. It sucks. And all I want to do is BMWs. And there's guys like this with Harley. There's lots of you Harley guys out there like this. And all you want to do is talk about Harleys, look at Harleys, talk about the different years. It's Harley or nothing. Fuck everything else. I can't be limited like that. 2 wheels and an engine, I'm all over it. I don't care what it is. I just like 2 wheels and an engine. I just like motorcycles. So I brought out to one of the bike nights a Ducati Monster 750. It was like a 2006 or 2007. It was fuel injected, one of the early fuel injected models. They're all fuel injected now. They used to be carbureted. We stripped it down, bare bones, down to the frame, rebuilt it back up as a vintage cafe racer. Except for it has a newer engine and it was fuel injected, but the bike looked like out of a magazine for being back in the 1950s. It looked like an old vintage Ducati. Changed everything. And did it great. Painted it up all black and red Von Dutch style. Had it pinstriped from head to toe. Every inch of it pinstriped by one of the best pinstripers. Sometimes the pinstriping isn't all that really good. We got the best pinstriping done. The pinstriping was amazing. The bike was cool. The pinstriping was just like, oh my God. The whole theme of the bike just tied in perfectly. We brought a couple other bikes, a custom BMW, which BMW guys would get angry. If you customized a BMW, oh, they would get downright mad at you. Spitting on the ground and, I can't believe you ruined this bike. You fucking BMW guys are weirdos, man. Purists. But we customized a BMW. We had a bunch of different kinds of bike, Honda CB750 choppers. But all the Arlen Ness dudes, everybody from that shop, all their mechanics, all their fabrication guys, and they had some pretty good dudes there. Really good people. People that move from all over the country that just want to work at that shop. And they're all standing around that Ducati, just going berserk over it the whole night. Well, I sold that Ducati. I had such a high price on it. I put a price that was almost twice as much as what I was willing to take for it. Just to see. The market was good. It was a seller's market, and I just wanted to see what I could get. I guess I was greedy. This guy comes up and he says, I'll buy that bike. No haggle, nothing. I'll give you $3 grand less for it, or that's way overpriced, nothing. He's just, I'll buy it. Can you deliver it to my house? And I was like, sure. And he was all aggressive. And he has cash. He's counting out cash. And his wife is standing out front. And he says to me rather aggressively, and he says, you want to know why I'm buying this bike? Not really, but okay, you know, why? Why are you buying the bike? And he says, just to piss her off. And his wife is standing out there, just all angry. I guess they had some sort of argument. I just thought it was so funny. But after we sold the bike, I was up at Arlen Ness motorcycle shop. They've been closed down for a while, and Arlen Ness is dead, you know, God rest his soul. And right out front, as we pulled in, I pull in my truck. I got a couple of my guys with me, my business partner, and we all get out. And I see right away my Ducati, the one that we built. I run right over to it, and it's not it. I thought it was it, but it's not. It was one almost identical. Color scheme was slightly different. It was red and white, wasn't black and red. It was done not as quite as good as mine, but very well done. This was done by the Arlen Ness shop. Me and my whole crew, me and my business partner especially, we sat there and marveled at it because it was a dead ringer, a complete rip-off of the bike that we just built and that these guys were just going crazy over. It was so obvious. They just ripped us off. They all took pictures. They all went back to the shop the next day and said, we're going to build that same bike. Fuck yeah. And they did. So the Arlen Ness motorcycle shop completely ripped us off with our idea, stole our idea, copied our bike. And I was flattered. I went in there, made fun of them, and was just like, you guys are welcome. I hope, you know, you want to give me some of that profit, I'll take it. You want to take me out to lunch after you sell that bike, you know, you're welcome. I'm glad I can inspire you guys. I'm glad some loser from South Central Los Angeles, some idiot who doesn't know nothing about nothing, that came from nowhere, could inspire the greatest bike shop that's ever been. Thanks for watching.